Welcome to the NWI.com Political Roundtable for Thursday, April 14th. I'm Robert Blaszkiewicz, Assistant Managing Editor of the Times. Here with me today is Doug Ross, Editorial Page Editor of the Times, and Times columnist Mark Kiesling, bringing you the latest developments in the political world. This week we saw the Republicans, Doug and Mark, unveiled their redistricting plan, and quite a few boundary changes, as could be expected. What were the highlights?
Well, one of them was the congressional map. I think that gave a very much more compact first district, and
the upshot of it was it basically moved Newton and Jasper County, some of Blaszkiewicz areas to the south, moved them down to District 4, and also then brought in a lot of LaPorte County, Michigan, including Michigan City.
The edge, Michigan City, and
Michigan
that
City,
edge,
yeah.
right.
So the population center of LaPorte County, Michigan City, went into the first district.
And I think more to the point, it took Michigan City, which is a Democratic stronghold, took it out of the second district, so Joe Donnelly lost a lot of Democratic.
And that district has swung back, and it's been a 50-50 district for a long time,
right,
swinging back and forth between the parties.
What do you think this is going to mean for both Donnelly and Blaszkiewicz?
Well, I think Blaszkiewicz, it doesn't really affect a whole lot.
It makes him more
just
secure,
solidified
if
his
anything,
base,
yeah,
basically. But
he actually lost, I think, the counties to the south in the last election. So,
is this an indication that the Republicans have basically given up on winning the first district?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger indication that they wanted to get Donnelly out of the second district.
They want that second district, and I think what it means for Donnelly is he must be maybe running for Senate.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: Did Linda Muller's kind of disappointing show last November, did that have anything to do with it, or?
No, I don't think so. I think it was
because he was the one that was being backed by the Republican Party over Mark Leva, and they put a lot of money and a lot of effort into Linda Muller's campaign, and he came up short. Not that much short, but he did come up short to Mark Leva, who I think this is his 8th time running against Blaszkiewicz without any kind of significant showing.
I think
they just kind of
well, when you look at the other changes in the second district, I mean, moving Kokomo and so forth, I think the map is just clearly an effort to target him.
And if you're in the state GOP, the odds are much better to pick up that second district than to ever pick up the first district. So, it's a smart play on their part, I'm sure, from a political standpoint. As far as the state boundaries go for the state house districts, a lot of changes there. Some representatives ending up in the same district. Some districts with no representatives now, so there'll be kind of open seats waiting for someone to jump in. Doug,
you're going to see some incumbents running against each other. Vernon Smith and Chet Dobas, for instance.
Yeah, and in this whole process, obviously, Democrats are not happy with it, but Republicans with control of the state house, they basically get to call the shots on this one.
Right.
When Todd Rokita, who's now in Congress, was Secretary of State, he floated a plan. He had his plan for redistricting that he wanted to roll out that had attempted to take the politics out of it. Obviously, the politics did not come out of it, and we end up with some really strange districts. I think Linda Lawson's current district is a weird one. It's almost looks like a piece of it's getting eaten by the district next to it.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Is it ever possible to take politics out of redistricting? I remember working in Chicago when they would redistrict the wards, and you'd have wards where you would have a line going across, which would just basically be one street, and then they would attach to a whole another thing. They're obviously clearly.
Well, these aren't quite that bad, but
the process as it stands, there's no way to take the politics out of it unless you actually unless you have a party in power saying we're going to take the politics out of it, we're going to put redistricting in the hands of a nonpartisan commission, and they're going to draw the boundaries, and we'll all live with it. But what party in power is ever going to do that?
One last question for me: Is it a good thing to take the politics out of it, or does this just is this just the way the game is played?
Well, what this does is, you know, assuming the Republican maps, which is a fairly good assumption, are approved, what it does is it locks in Republican rule in some of those territories for the next 10 years. I mean, that's what it's all about.
And I think the other part of it too that's detrimental on the whole is that I think as you get these districts that are much more partisan, you get then the much more partisans that are getting elected, because it becomes the contest becomes in the primary. So it's who can ever go furthest to the left or the right. And we have seen in Congress, we've seen the loss of moderation. There are no what moderates are there left?
Right, and that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, everyone's either left or they're right. And
Right.
you don't see a whole lot of, you know, the Dick Lugar types who want to just sit down and say,
Right.
well, you know, let's work together.
Sure.